In the heart of a desolate town, surrounded by looming shadows and shrouded in an eerie mist, stood the Ravenwood Hotel. Its grand facade, now weathered and worn, betrayed a history steeped in whispers of unspeakable horrors. Unbeknownst to the weary traveler, the very walls of the Ravenwood harbored a malevolence that defied explanation. John, a weary businessman on a cross-country journey, found himself at the mercy of a stormy night, seeking refuge within the foreboding embrace of the Ravenwood. As he stepped into the dimly lit lobby, the air grew thick with a palpable tension. The receptionist's eyes, glazed with an unsettling indifference, handed John an antique key without uttering a single word. The corridors, bathed in the sallow glow of flickering lights, seemed to stretch into an infinite darkness. Each step John took echoed through the silence, punctuated only by the distant howling of the wind outside. As he reached his assigned room, the door groaned open, revealing a space frozen in time, a room suspended between the forgotten past and the present. As John settled into the room, a chilling draft whispered through the cracks in the ancient walls. The air hung heavy with a spectral presence that seemed to stir the very essence of the Ravenwood's dark history. Unseen eyes watched as John unpacked, the shadows playing tricks on the edges of his perception. Night fell like a shroud over the Ravenwood, and as John lay in the creaking bed, strange whispers slithered through the air. The voices, indistinct and haunting, spoke of forgotten tragedies, of souls trapped in the limbo between the living and the dead. Sleep eluded John as the disembodied whispers grew louder, converging into an unsettling symphony that reverberated through the haunted corridors. The antique clock on the bedside table ticked with a ghostly cadence, each chime echoing through the room like a portent of impending dread. Images flickered in the dim light, a specter in the corner, a fleeting shadow in the mirror, all playing tricks on John's fragile sense of reality. As the night deepened, the Ravenwood Hotel seemed to awaken with a malevolent energy. John, caught in the web of restless spirits, tossed and turned in his bed, unable to escape the tendrils of the supernatural that coiled around him. Spectral apparitions materialized at the foot of the bed, figures from a bygone era, their faces etched with sorrow and anguish. The air crackled with an ethereal energy as they wordlessly moved through the room, their movements synchronized like a haunting dance of the damned. The whispers, now louder and more insistent, spoke of tragedies that had befallen those who had crossed the threshold of the Ravenwood. John, paralyzed with fear, watched as the apparitions replayed moments of despair, faces contorted in agony, hands reaching out from the shadows, pleading for release from the spectral purgatory. In the corner of the room, a flickering lamp cast dancing shadows that seemed to form grotesque shapes on the walls. The temperature plummeted, and a bitter coldness enveloped John as if the very breath of the otherworldly had descended upon him. As the spectral apparitions continued their silent lament, the Ravenwood Hotel transformed into a symphony of wailing midnight. The air grew thick with a sorrowful energy, and the room seemed to contract, suffocating John in the grip of the supernatural. A distant clock struck midnight, its mournful toll echoing through the Ravenwood. Shadows, animated by an unseen force, writhed and contorted on the walls. The temperature dropped further, and John's breath materialized in the frigid air, a tangible testament to the chilling presence that had permeated the room. In the mirrors, reflections of tormented faces stared back at John, their eyes pleading for an escape from the endless torment. The whispers crescendoed into anguished cries, a cacophony of voices that seemed to transcend the boundaries between the living and the dead. Desperation seized John as he grappled with the spectral onslaught. He reached for the antique key, his trembling hand fumbling to unlock the door. The corridor outside, bathed in an otherworldly glow, stretched infinitely in both directions, each step echoing with the echoes of bygone tragedies. As John stepped into the corridor, the air seemed to thicken with an oppressive malevolence. The flickering lights cast erratic shadows that danced along the walls, creating a disorienting labyrinth of darkness. The once familiar layout of the Ravenwood now twisted and contorted like a nightmare brought to life. Whispers, now more desperate and tortured, reverberated through the narrow passageways. The spectral apparitions, having transcended the confines of the room, moved with an ethereal grace, their ghostly forms weaving in and out of the shadows. John, entangled in the otherworldly dance, struggled to distinguish between reality and the spectral mirage that enveloped him. The corridor seemed to stretch endlessly, doorways appearing and disappearing like phantoms in the night. John, drawn deeper into the heart of the Ravenwood, felt the weight of unseen eyes upon him. Faces materialized in the walls, their eyes accusing and mournful, as if pleading for acknowledgement of the tragedies that had befallen them. As John navigated the labyrinthine corridors, the Ravenwood Hotel seemed to unveil its cursed revelations. Whispers grew into anguished moans, the very walls groaning with the weight of the tragedies they had witnessed. The spectral apparitions, now a swirling tempest of sorrow, guided John through the twisted passages. Each doorway revealed a fragment of the hotel's haunted history, a room where a love had soured into betrayal, a hall where a life had met a tragic end. The air became saturated with the residual pain of the departed, and the boundaries between past and present blurred in a disorienting dance. At the heart of the Ravenwood, John found himself standing before a grand door, its ornate carvings telling a tale of a bygone era. As the door creaked open, the room beyond unfolded like a spectral panorama, an eerie ballroom frozen in time, where ghostly figures twirled in a macabre waltz. The specters beckoned John to join their ethereal dance, their movements synchronized with the haunting melody that seemed to emanate from the very walls. The room pulsed with a malevolent energy, and John, caught in the gravitational pull of the cursed revelations, felt the boundaries between the living and the dead dissolve. Compelled by an unseen force, John stepped into the spectral ballroom. The air hung heavy with the strains of a haunting melody, played by an orchestra of ghostly musicians whose forms flickered in and out of existence. The dance floor, once polished and grand, now bore the scars of countless phantom feet. The spectral figures extended translucent hands, inviting John to join their macabre waltz. The echoes of the Ravenwood's cursed history played out in the ethereal dance, the heartbreaks, the betrayals, the lives cut short. Each step John took resonated with the anguished rhythm of the haunted ballroom. As the waltz reached a crescendo, the faces of the spectral dancers contorted with a mixture of agony and ecstasy. The room seemed to pulse with a supernatural energy, its walls bearing witness to the tragic tales etched into the very fabric of the Ravenwood Hotel. The dance, a surreal communion between the living and the dead, spiraled into a disorienting whirlwind. John, unable to resist the spectral pull, felt the boundary between his reality and the haunted history of the Ravenwood blur into a nightmarish amalgamation. The spectral waltz intensified, and the ballroom morphed into a vortex of otherworldly energies. The haunting melody reached a fevered pitch, echoing through the Ravenwood like a lamentation that transcended the boundaries of time. Faces from the past and present merged in a disorienting kaleidoscope of agony, creating a tableau of collective suffering. John, ensnared in the ethereal dance, felt his sanity unraveling. The lines between reality and the supernatural became indistinguishable, and the Ravenwood seemed to feed on his disorientation. Whispers, now a cacophony. As the waltz reached its zenith, the grand chandelier above flickered erratically, casting distorted shadows that danced along the walls. The room pulsed with an otherworldly heartbeat, and the very foundation of the Ravenwood groaned under the weight of the spectral energy. In the throes of the descent into madness, John's surroundings became a nightmarish panorama. Faces contorted into grotesque masks, and the once elegant ballroom twisted into a grotesque mockery of opulence. The Ravenwood, a malevolent entity in its own right, reveled in the chaos it had unleashed upon the weary traveler. As the descent into madness reached its crescendo, the Ravenwood's ballroom transformed into an abyssal realm where reality and nightmare converged. John, caught in the maelstrom of supernatural forces, teetered on the precipice of a chasm that seemed to lead to the very heart of the hotel's cursed history. The spectral dancers, their movements now distorted and grotesque, surrounded John like phantoms closing in for the final act of a cosmic tragedy. The haunting melody, once melancholic, now reverberated with a discordant cacophony that mirrored the unraveling threads of sanity. The chandelier above, now a flickering spectral fixture, cast fragmented beams of light that refracted through the shadows like fractured memories. Faces, both human and spectral, floated in the ephemeral gloom, their eyes reflecting an unspeakable pain that transcended the bounds of mortal comprehension. As John approached the edge of the abyss, the Ravenwood seemed to exhale a malevolent breath, a breath that whispered of forgotten sins, unredeemable regrets, and the insatiable hunger of the supernatural forces that lay dormant within its walls. With each step toward the abyss, John felt the Ravenwood's malevolent energies pulling him deeper into the cursed nexus. The spectral dancers, now contorted into grotesque forms, writhed in a nightmarish ballet that mirrored the tumult within John's unraveling mind. The abyss, a swirling maelstrom of shadows, beckoned like a yawning mouth hungry for the essence of the living. The haunting melody, distorted beyond recognition, echoed through the void, its dissonant notes resonating with the tormented souls trapped within the Ravenwood's accursed embrace. As John teetered on the edge of the abyss, the very fabric of reality seemed to ripple. The Ravenwood, a vessel of supernatural malevolence, pulsated with an ancient darkness that sought to consume all who dared to tread its haunted corridors. The spectral dancers, now amalgamations of pain and despair, extended ghostly hands, their silent pleas echoing in John's ears. The abyss, a gateway to the unknown, seemed to hold the key to the Ravenwood's darkest secrets, the sins, the tragedies, and the restless spirits that clung to the hotel's tortured history. In the final moments before the plunge into the abyss, the Ravenwood secrets hung in the air like a spectral mist, waiting to envelop John in the chilling embrace of the unknown. With a hesitant breath, John succumbed to the gravitational pull of the abyss. The spectral dancers, their haunting figures now dissipating into the void, watched as he descended into the chasm that seemed to swallow both time and reason. As John plummeted through the shadows, he glimpsed fragmented scenes from the Ravenwood's cursed history, betrayals, tragedies, and the residual echoes of unspeakable horrors. The abyss, a swirling tapestry of spectral memories, wove itself around him, each thread whispering tales of the countless souls ensnared within the hotel's malevolent grip. The haunting melody, distorted beyond recognition, resonated through the abyss. Faces, both familiar and unknown, floated in the spectral gloom, their eyes revealing the weight of an eternity spent in the Ravenwood's accursed embrace. The descent seemed endless, the boundaries between the living and the dead blurred into a surreal dreamscape. John, now a mere witness to the Ravenwood spectral tapestry, felt the tendrils of the supernatural weaving through the fabric of his very existence. In the profound depths of the abyss, the true nature of the Ravenwood's malevolence awaited revelation, a revelation that would either consume John's identity or unveil the haunting mysteries that had festered within the hotel's tortured history. As John descended further into the abyss, the boundaries between the living and the spectral realms dissolved into an indistinct haze. The haunting melody, now a dissonant symphony of echoes, reverberated through the shadows, guiding John toward the heart of the Ravenwood's malevolence. The spectral tapestry, a collage of tormented memories, unfolded before him. Faces twisted in agony, hands reaching out from the shadows, and voices intertwined in a chorus of lamentation. The abyss seemed to breathe with a life of its own, each exhalation echoing the anguish that permeated the very essence of the Ravenwood. In the profound darkness, John glimpsed a distant light, a flickering beacon at the center of the abyss. The haunting melody intensified, its notes weaving a hypnotic spell that urged him toward the heart of the spectral revelation. As he approached the source of the ethereal glow, the Ravenwood secrets began to unravel. The abyss, a repository of the hotel's darkest history, whispered tales of forbidden rituals, vengeful spirits, and the insatiable hunger that had bound the Ravenwood to the supernatural. The flickering light at the heart of the abyss expanded into an otherworldly chamber, an arcane nexus where the Ravenwood's malevolence converged. The haunting melody, now a crescendo of discordant notes, echoed off the walls of the spectral chamber. As John stepped into the nexus, the very fabric of reality seemed to warp around him. The chamber pulsed with an ancient energy, revealing the hotel's sordid history etched into the walls like a macabre tapestry. Symbols of forbidden rituals and forgotten pacts adorned the chamber, a testament to the unholy alliances that had fueled the Ravenwood's supernatural influence. Whispers, now more coherent and menacing, emanated from the walls. The tortured souls trapped within the nexus reached out to John, their spectral hands beckoning him to bear witness to the hotel's malevolent genesis. In the center of the chamber, a swirling vortex of shadows materialized, a gateway to the nether realms that held the key to the Ravenwood's eternal curse. The haunting melody, an unholy symphony, guided John toward the heart of the Nexus, where the revelations of the supernatural awaited. As he approached the vortex, the Ravenwood's malevolence seemed to coalesce into a tangible force. The abyssal nexus, a convergence of spectral energies, pulsed with a darkness that defied mortal comprehension. The vortex of shadows, a gateway to the Ravenwood's malevolent heart, loomed before John. As he entered the nexus, the haunting melody reached a deafening climax, reverberating through the chamber like a symphony of the damned. Within the swirling shadows, faces of ancient entities materialized, ethereal beings bound by a sinister pact that had fueled the Ravenwood's supernatural grip. Their eyes, luminescent with an unnatural glow, bore witness to centuries of unspeakable deeds and forbidden rituals. The whispers, now the voices of the spectral entities, spoke of a curse woven into the very fabric of the hotel. A pact forged in the shadows, where mortal desires and supernatural forces intertwined, perpetuating a cycle of suffering that transcended time itself. As John stood at the precipice of the vortex, the spectral entities beckoned him to partake in the unholy communion. The haunting melody, a malevolent incantation, echoed through the nexus, urging him to become a vessel for the Ravenwood's insatiable hunger. The air crackled with an otherworldly energy as John faced the choice: embrace the malevolence that lurked within the nexus or resist the pull and confront the consequences of unraveling the Ravenwood's cursed mysteries. In the nexus of shadows, John grappled with the weight of the supernatural forces that sought to ensnare him. The haunting melody, now a relentless drumbeat echoing through the chamber, seemed to pulse with the Ravenwood's insatiable hunger. The spectral entities, their faces contorted with an ancient malevolence, extended translucent hands toward John. The nexus quivered with an unholy anticipation, as if the very fabric of reality awaited the traveler's decision to either succumb to the malevolent pact or defy the centuries-old curse. As he stood on the brink of the abyss, John felt the pull of the Ravenwood's influence, its promises of power, forbidden knowledge, and the tantalizing allure of becoming one with the supernatural forces that had plagued the hotel for generations. Yet, something within John resisted. A flicker of humanity, a defiance against the encroaching darkness. The echoes of the Ravenwood's tortured history, the faces of the spectral entities, and the haunting melody collided in a symphony of supernatural chaos. In a moment of profound choice, John took a step back, severing the connection with the malevolent nexus. The spectral entities recoiled, their luminous eyes narrowing in an expression of ancient resentment. The haunting melody wailed in protest as the vortex of shadows trembled, resisting the defiance of the lone traveler. The Ravenwood, caught in a discordant symphony of supernatural energies, seemed to hold its breath. The consequences of John's decision hung in the air, an uncertain resolution to the ancient curse or an escalation of the malevolence that lingered within the hotel's haunted corridors. As John resisted the seductive pull of the Ravenwood's malevolence, the nexus of shadows convulsed in a dissonant display of supernatural turmoil. The haunting melody, once an orchestration of darkness, fractured into discordant notes that echoed through the spectral chamber. The spectral entities, thwarted in their attempt to ensnare John, recoiled into the shadows with indignant howls. The vortex of shadows, denied its intended vessel, pulsated with an unstable energy that threatened to consume the very fabric of the Ravenwood. In the midst of the supernatural upheaval, the chamber's walls seemed to bleed with the memories of the hotel's tormented history. Faces of long-forgotten victims and the spectral entities bound by the ancient pact contorted in an ethereal dance of rage and frustration. The haunting melody, now a lamentation of the Ravenwood's thwarted desire for a new vessel, echoed the consequences of John's defiance. The hotel, a vessel of malevolence, teetered on the edge of a precipice, caught between the forces that sought its perpetuation and the unraveling of the curse that had bound it for centuries. As John braced himself for the aftermath of his choice, the nexus of shadows quivered, and the Ravenwood seemed to exhale a chilling breath, an acknowledgment of the unresolved fate that lingered within its haunted corridors. In the aftermath of John's defiance, an eerie stillness settled over the Ravenwood. The nexus of shadows, once a tempest of supernatural energies, subsided into a quivering calm. The haunting melody, now a mournful echo, reverberated through the spectral chamber as if mourning the rupture of the malevolent pact. The spectral entities, their luminous eyes dimmed with frustration, receded into the shadows, vanishing like ethereal phantoms into the tapestry of the Ravenwood's haunted history. The vortex of shadows, denied its intended vessel, contracted into a pulsating core that bore the scars of the supernatural upheaval. As John navigated the aftermath, the hotel seemed to exhale a sigh of unquiet respite. The walls, once bleeding with spectral memories, now bore the marks of a conflict between the forces of malevolence and the ephemeral defiance of a lone traveler. The Ravenwood, suspended in a liminal state between the cursed past and an uncertain future, awaited the echoes of its haunted history to settle. The haunting melody, a melancholic requiem, lingered in the air like a fading echo of the supernatural chaos that had gripped the hotel's tortured corridors. In the hushed aftermath, the Ravenwood stood as a testament to the resilience of human defiance against the encroaching darkness, a respite that, though fragile, hinted at the potential unraveling of the ancient curse that had bound the hotel in its spectral grip. As John cautiously moved through the Ravenwood, a peculiar stillness enveloped the haunted corridors. The lingering shadows, once animated by supernatural forces, seemed to retreat into corners and alcoves, as if nursing the wounds inflicted by the traveler's defiance. The hotel, caught in the liminal space between malevolence and respite, bore the scars of the supernatural upheaval. Flickering lights cast uncertain shadows, and the air pulsed with an otherworldly energy that hinted at the Ravenwood's wounded, yet still potent, nature. Whispers, no longer malicious but carrying the weight of centuries-old secrets, echoed through the dimly lit corridors. Faces from the hotel's haunted history flickered like spectral apparitions, their eyes revealing a mixture of gratitude and lingering sorrow. John, navigating the once foreboding halls, felt the gaze of unseen entities, watchful, contemplative. The haunting melody, now a distant refrain, played like a mournful echo in the background, underscoring the fragile balance between the supernatural and the resolute spirit of the lone traveler. The Ravenwood, a repository of ancient curses and unresolved mysteries, stood on the precipice of transformation. The consequences of John's actions lingered in the air, an enigmatic promise of either continued malevolence or the potential for a new chapter in the haunted history of the Forsaken Hotel. As John ventured deeper into the Ravenwood, the tenuous harmony between the supernatural and the resolute spirit of defiance continued to echo through the haunted corridors. The once ominous atmosphere seemed to undergo a subtle transformation, as if the malevolent forces within the hotel were held at bay by the fragile equilibrium. Whispers, now softened and tinged with an ethereal melancholy, guided John through the labyrinthine halls. Faces from the spectral tapestry of the Ravenwood's history appeared, their eyes conveying a spectrum of emotions, from gratitude for the disruption of the malevolent pact to an enduring sorrow born of ancient grievances. The flickering lights, once erratic in their dance, now settled into a muted glow that cast subdued shadows on the walls. The air, though charged with residual supernatural energy, carried a sense of waiting, as if the Ravenwood itself anticipated the resolution of its haunted legacy. The haunting melody, no longer a mournful requiem, played as a distant undertone, a reminder of the delicate balance that held the Ravenwood in check. The nexus of shadows, though scarred by the conflict, pulsed with a subdued energy, reflecting the echoes of a supernatural struggle that lingered in the hotel's haunted corridors. As John pressed on, he became a reluctant steward of this delicate harmony, navigating the Ravenwood's spectral intricacies with an awareness that every step could tip the balance toward either malevolence or redemption. The Ravenwood, once a place teetering on the edge of a tenuous balance, now convulsed with unleashed darkness. As John moved through the haunted corridors, the malevolent forces within the hotel surged with a renewed vigor, tearing at the fragile veil that had momentarily held them at bay. Whispers, now twisted into sinister incantations, echoed through the Ravenwood, reverberating with the urgency of unseen entities seeking liberation. The flickering lights, once mere shadows of their former selves, blazed with an erratic intensity, casting grotesque silhouettes that seemed to writhe with an insatiable hunger. The air thickened with an oppressive malevolence, and the haunting melody, now a cacophony of dissonant notes, played as a malevolent symphony that resonated through the haunted halls. Faces from the spectral tapestry contorted into grotesque masks of rage, their eyes reflecting an ancient thirst for retribution. John, caught in the maelstrom of unleashed darkness, felt the very fabric of reality warp around him. The nexus of shadows, once scarred by conflict, now pulsed with an unholy energy, as if the Ravenwood itself sought to break free from the constraints imposed upon it by centuries of curses and malevolent pacts. As the hotel plunged into a nightmarish abyss, John faced a choice: stand against the rising tide of darkness or succumb to the supernatural forces that sought to consume the Ravenwood and all who dared to tread its accursed halls. The Ravenwood, once a realm of veiled mysteries and spectral whispers, descended into abyssal chaos. The unleashed darkness, now a tempest of malevolent forces, tore through the haunted corridors with an insatiable hunger, shattering the fragile equilibrium that had briefly held sway. Whispers, no longer constrained by the veneer of subtlety, crescendoed into unholy incantations that reverberated through the very foundations of the Ravenwood. The flickering lights, now frenzied in their dance, cast demented shadows that seemed to dance in tandem with the encroaching darkness. The air pulsed with an otherworldly energy, thickening into a palpable malevolence that clawed at the edges of John's sanity. The haunting melody, once a distant echo, now transformed into a dissonant symphony that mirrored the escalating tumult within the forsaken hotel. Faces from the spectral tapestry contorted into grotesque masks of rage and despair, their eyes aflame with the unholy fervor of unleashed malevolence. John, caught in the grip of the Ravenwood's descent, struggled against the tide of darkness that threatened to consume him. The nexus of shadows, now a swirling vortex of chaos, pulsed with an ancient hunger, a hunger that sought to devour not only the haunted hotel but the very essence of those who dared to defy its supernatural whims. As John braced himself for the impending onslaught, the Ravenwood seemed to echo with the agonized wails of spirits trapped within its malevolent embrace, as if the hotel itself lamented the descent into abyssal chaos. In the heart of the Ravenwood's abyssal chaos, John found himself standing at the precipice of an ethereal crucible. The unleashed darkness, now an all-encompassing tempest, pulsed with an insatiable hunger that threatened to consume both the spectral entities and the very essence of the forsaken hotel. Whispers, distorted into tortured howls, echoed through the swirling vortex of shadows. The flickering lights, now erratic and malevolent, cast twisted shadows that danced in macabre synchrony with the escalating tumult. The air, heavy with the stench of supernatural malevolence, seemed to close in around John like a suffocating shroud. The haunting melody, a dissonant symphony that played as an accompaniment to the Ravenwood's descent, reached a crescendo of otherworldly proportions. Faces from the spectral tapestry contorted in a grotesque ballet of torment, their eyes aflame with an ancient rage that sought release. As John braced himself for the impending onslaught, a choice hung in the air, an ethereal crossroads where the fate of the Ravenwood and its spectral entities intertwined with the resolute spirit of the lone traveler. The nexus of shadows, a swirling maelstrom of chaos, beckoned John to confront the malevolence that had festered within the forsaken hotel for centuries. In the crucible of supernatural conflict, the Ravenwood's true nature awaited revelation, an unraveling of ancient curses, the liberation of tormented spirits, or the culmination of darkness that would herald an eternal night within its haunted corridors. As John stood at the ethereal crucible, the Ravenwood's malevolence reached a cataclysmic zenith. The swirling vortex of shadows, now a maelstrom of supernatural chaos, pulsed with an intensity that threatened to shatter the very fabric of the haunted hotel. Whispers, distorted into agonized wails, reverberated through the tumultuous corridors. The flickering lights, consumed by the tempest, cast disorienting shadows that writhed with an insatiable hunger. The air, saturated with the oppressive weight of unleashed malevolence, seemed to bear witness to the culmination of centuries-old curses. The haunting melody, a dissonant symphony that played as the Ravenwood's requiem, reached a crescendo of otherworldly proportions. Faces from the spectral tapestry contorted in a grotesque dance of torment, their eyes reflecting the collective agony of the spirits bound within the forsaken hotel. In the shattered nexus of shadows, John faced a choice that resonated with cosmic consequences: stand as a bastion against the encroaching darkness or succumb to the malevolent forces that sought to consume the Ravenwood and all who dared to tread its haunted halls. As the maelstrom intensified, the hotel itself seemed to quake with an otherworldly turmoil, echoing the cataclysmic clash between supernatural forces and the resolute spirit of defiance within its accursed walls. In the heart of the shattered nexus, John found himself enveloped in the tumultuous maelstrom of supernatural chaos. The Ravenwood, caught in the throes of cosmic conflict, pulsed with an intensity that threatened to unravel the very essence of the Forsaken Hotel. Whispers, now distorted into an unholy cacophony, echoed through the fractured corridors. The flickering lights, consumed by the tempest, cast erratic shadows that danced with a malevolence intent on consuming every trace of the Ravenwood's haunted history. The air, heavy with the residue of supernatural upheaval, seemed to tremble with the echoes of unresolved spirits. The haunting melody, a dissonant requiem that played as the Ravenwood's last lament, reached a climax of otherworldly proportions. Faces from the spectral tapestry contorted in a final dance of torment, their eyes reflecting the collective struggle between malevolence and the resolute spirit that stood against it. In the crucible of cosmic conflict, John faced the climax of his journey, an echo of resolution that resonated through the haunted hotel. The shattered nexus of shadows quivered, caught between the forces of supernatural darkness and the unwavering defiance of the lone traveler. As the echoes of resolution reverberated through the Ravenwood, the maelstrom began to subside. The hotel, once consumed by the tempest, now stood on the brink of an uncertain calm, as if the supernatural forces within its walls awaited the final consequences of the cosmic clash that had unfolded. As the maelstrom subsided, a profound stillness settled over the Ravenwood, a lingering echo of the cosmic clash that had unfolded within its haunted corridors. The shattered nexus of shadows, once a vortex of supernatural chaos, quivered on the precipice of an uncertain calm. Whispers, now softened to ghostly murmurs, wove through the dimly lit corridors. The flickering lights, no longer erratic, cast a muted glow that illuminated the aftermath of the supernatural upheaval. The air, though still charged with residual energy, carried a weight of introspection, as if the Ravenwood itself contemplated the consequences of the recent cosmic clash. The haunting melody, now a somber refrain, played in the background, a mournful soundtrack to the aftermath of the supernatural storm. Faces from the spectral tapestry, their contorted expressions frozen in a final dance, seemed to bear witness to the echoes of resolution that lingered within the haunted hotel. John, navigating the aftermath of the cosmic clash, felt the weight of the Ravenwood's haunted history as an indelible mark on his journey. The nexus of shadows, scarred and transformed by the recent conflict, held the secrets of the Forsaken Hotel's enduring malevolence. As he moved through the dimly lit corridors, John sensed that the Ravenwood, though momentarily subdued, remained a vessel of ancient curses and unresolved mysteries. The lingering echo of the recent supernatural upheaval hinted at a fragile peace, an interlude before the next chapter in the haunted legacy of the Forsaken Hotel unfolded. In the wake of the cosmic clash, the Ravenwood existed in a state of tenuous respite. The shattered nexus of shadows, scarred by the recent supernatural upheaval, pulsated with an ancient energy that spoke of both lingering malevolence and the transient calm that had settled over the haunted hotel. Whispers, now hushed and contemplative, meandered through the dimly lit corridors. The flickering lights, subdued in their glow, cast a melancholic ambience that mirrored the aftermath of the cosmic storm. The air, heavy with the weight of spectral history, carried the scent of both lingering malevolence and the fragile peace that had momentarily embraced the forsaken hotel. The haunting melody, a subdued dirge that played as the Ravenwood's lament, echoed through the haunted halls. Faces from the spectral tapestry, frozen in contorted poses, bore witness to the interlude between supernatural conflict and the inevitable resurgence of the hotel's enduring darkness. John, traversing the haunted corridors with an awareness of the fragility of the current respite, felt the Ravenwood's pulse, a rhythmic beat that seemed to synchronize with the ebb and flow of the supernatural forces within its walls. The Nexus of Shadows, a testament to the recent clash, held the key to the hotel's haunted legacy, a legacy that continued to unfold with each echoing step. As he ventured deeper into the Ravenwood's enigmatic embrace, John knew that the respite was fleeting, a calm before the storm that would inevitably shape the next chapter in the ongoing saga of the Forsaken Hotel. In the midst of the tenuous respite, a subtle shift began to weave through the haunted corridors of the Ravenwood. The shattered Nexus of Shadows, scarred by the recent cosmic clash, quivered with a renewed energy, a gathering of supernatural forces that hinted at the impending resurgence of the hotel's enduring darkness. Whispers, once contemplative, now took on an undercurrent of anticipation. The flickering lights, subdued during the brief calm, flickered with an erratic energy, casting foreboding shadows that danced in tandem with the gathering malevolence. The air, thickening with the scent of impending supernatural turmoil, seemed to bear witness to the Ravenwood's inexorable pull toward the next chapter in its haunted legacy. The haunting melody, a subtle prelude to the impending storm, played as an ominous refrain in the background. Faces from the spectral tapestry, their frozen expressions reflecting both torment and expectation, seemed to align with the gathering shadows that converged within the Forsaken Hotel. John, navigating the haunted corridors with a heightened sense of awareness, felt the encroaching darkness, an ethereal tempest that stirred within the very fabric of the Ravenwood. The Nexus of Shadows, now a focal point of gathering malevolence, held the secrets of the impending supernatural upheaval that would once again plunge the haunted hotel into the throes of cosmic conflict. As he ventured further into the heart of the Ravenwood, John knew that the fragile respite was unraveling, giving way to the relentless pull of the enduring shadows that awaited their moment to reclaim the Forsaken Hotel. As the gathering shadows intensified within the Ravenwood, a palpable tension gripped the haunted corridors. The shattered Nexus of Shadows, scarred but pulsating with newfound malevolence, became the focal point of an otherworldly overture, an unveiling symphony that heralded the impending resurgence of the hotel's enduring darkness. Whispers, once hushed, now crescendoed into a chorus of spectral voices that echoed through the dimly lit halls. The flickering lights, no longer subdued, flared with an erratic brilliance, casting grotesque shadows that seemed to writhe with the anticipation of the looming supernatural storm. The air, charged with the volatile energy of the gathering shadows, crackled with an otherworldly resonance that seemed to resonate with the Ravenwood's ancient malevolence. The haunting melody, a dissonant prelude that played as the Ravenwood's malevolent overture, intensified in both tempo and malevolence. Faces from the spectral tapestry contorted in an eerie dance of expectation, their eyes aflame with the anticipation of the impending cosmic clash. John, navigating the increasingly foreboding corridors, sensed the unraveling of the fragile respite. The nexus of shadows, once scarred by the previous conflict, now pulsated with an unholy energy, a beacon that drew the supernatural forces within the Ravenwood toward a convergence of ancient curses and spectral malevolence. As he ventured deeper into the heart of the haunted hotel, John knew that the unveiling overture signaled the approach of a darkness that transcended mortal understanding. The Ravenwood, poised on the precipice of the next chapter in its haunted legacy, beckoned John to confront the impending storm that would once again plunge the forsaken hotel into the cosmic clash of supernatural forces. Within the Ravenwood, the gathering shadows reached a crescendo, a symphony of malevolence that reverberated through the haunted corridors. The shattered nexus of shadows, now a pulsating epicenter of supernatural forces, quivered with an unholy energy, heralding the imminent plunge into an abyssal confrontation. Whispers, now a cacophony of spectral voices, echoed through the dimly lit halls with an otherworldly intensity. The flickering lights, frenzied in their dance, cast twisted shadows that seemed to writhe with an insatiable hunger. The air, thick with the volatile energy of the impending storm, resonated with the echoes of ancient curses and spectral malevolence. The haunting melody, a discordant symphony that played as the Ravenwood's malevolent crescendo, intensified to a deafening pitch. Faces from the spectral tapestry, contorted in expressions of both agony and anticipation, bore witness to the unfolding cosmic clash that awaited within the forsaken hotel. John, navigating the increasingly tumultuous corridors, felt the pull of the abyssal crescendo, an irresistible force that beckoned him toward the heart of the supernatural storm. The nexus of shadows, once scarred and now pulsating with an infernal energy, became a portal to the impending clash between mortal resolve and the enduring darkness that lurked within the Ravenwood. As he ventured deeper into the haunted hotel, John embraced the inevitability of the abyssal confrontation. The Ravenwood, a vessel of ancient curses and spectral malevolence, stood poised on the threshold of the next chapter, a chapter that would once again test the boundaries between the mortal realm and the malevolent forces that sought dominion over the forsaken hotel. In the heart of the Ravenwood, the abyssal crescendo reached its zenith, a convergence of supernatural forces that transcended the boundaries between mortal and ethereal realms. The shattered nexus of shadows, pulsating with an infernal energy, became a focal point for the enigmatic clash that awaited within the haunted corridors. Whispers, now a maddening cacophony, reverberated through the dimly lit halls with an intensity that seemed to distort the very fabric of reality. The flickering lights, frenetic in their dance, cast distorted shadows that contorted into grotesque shapes, mirroring the impending clash of cosmic forces. The air, thick with the palpable weight of malevolence, bore witness to the enigmatic convergence that unfolded within the Ravenwood. The haunting melody, a dissonant symphony that played as the Ravenwood's malevolent anthem, surged with an otherworldly potency. Faces from the spectral tapestry, twisted into expressions of both torment and anticipation, became spectral witnesses to the impending cosmic clash that would once again unfold within the forsaken hotel. John, drawn inexorably toward the heart of the enigmatic convergence, felt the Ravenwood's embrace tighten, a spectral grip that sought to entwine mortal resolve with the enduring darkness that lingered within its haunted corridors. The nexus of shadows, now a swirling vortex of infernal energy, became a portal to the surreal battleground where the cosmic forces of the supernatural realm would clash in a dance of malevolence. As he ventured further into the haunted hotel, John steeled himself for the enigmatic convergence, an intersection of fates that would determine whether the Ravenwood would succumb to the relentless pull of darkness or whether a flicker of mortal defiance would once again disrupt the malevolent harmony that sought dominion over the forsaken hotel. Within the Ravenwood's enigmatic convergence, John stood on the precipice of an ethereal clash, a cosmic battle between the enduring darkness and mortal resilience. The shattered nexus of shadows, now a swirling vortex of infernal energy, pulsed with an intensity that set the stage for the spectral confrontation that awaited within the haunted hotel. Whispers, a discordant symphony of spectral voices, resonated through the dimly lit halls, creating an otherworldly ambience that seemed to defy the laws of the mortal realm. The flickering lights, now erratic and malevolent, cast grotesque shadows that danced with an unnatural fervor. The air, thick with the mingling energies of mortal and ethereal forces, bore witness to the ethereal clash that unfolded within the Ravenwood's forsaken walls. The haunting melody, a dissonant anthem that played as the Ravenwood's cosmic requiem, reached a crescendo of supernatural proportions. Faces from the spectral tapestry, twisted into expressions of both agony and anticipation, became silent witnesses to the spectral dance that unfolded within the haunted hotel. John, bracing himself for the ethereal clash, felt the pull of both mortal and supernatural forces intertwining, a cosmic struggle that transcended the boundaries between realms. The nexus of shadows, a focal point of infernal energy, beckoned him into the surreal battleground where the fate of the Ravenwood hung in the balance. As he ventured further into the heart of the haunted hotel, John knew that the ethereal clash would determine whether the enduring darkness would prevail or whether the indomitable spirit of mortal defiance would once again disrupt the malevolent harmony that sought dominion over the forsaken hotel. In the heart of the ethereal clash, John stood as the resolute echo, a mortal soul caught in the cosmic maelstrom between enduring darkness and unyielding defiance. The shattered nexus of shadows, a swirling vortex of infernal energy, pulsated with an intensity that echoed the impending resolution within the haunted hotel. Whispers, now a cacophony of spectral voices, reverberated through the dimly lit halls, creating an otherworldly chorus that seemed to resonate with the very essence of the Ravenwood. The flickering lights, frenetic and malevolent, cast surreal shadows that contorted into grotesque shapes, mirroring the cosmic struggle that unfolded. The air, thick with the mingling energies of mortal and ethereal forces, bore witness to the climactic confrontation within the forsaken hotel. The haunting melody, a dissonant requiem that played as the Ravenwood's cosmic anthem, reached its zenith, an otherworldly symphony that underscored the spectral dance of malevolence and resilience. Faces from the spectral tapestry, contorted in expressions of both torment and anticipation, bore silent witness to the pivotal moment that would shape the haunted legacy of the forsaken hotel. John, navigating the surreal battleground, felt the weight of the ethereal clash, a convergence of fates that transcended the boundaries between realms. The nexus of shadows, now a focal point of cosmic tension, drew him deeper into the swirling maelstrom where the Ravenwood's destiny hung in precarious balance. As he moved through the haunted hotel, John knew that the resolute echo he embodied would leave an indelible mark on the Ravenwood spectral tapestry. The enduring darkness sought dominion, but mortal defiance, a flicker of resilience in the cosmic abyss, held the potential to disrupt the malevolent harmony that had plagued the forsaken hotel for centuries. In the culmination of the ethereal clash, the Ravenwood's fate awaited revelation, an ending that would either perpetuate the enduring darkness or herald a resolute echo, a testament to the indomitable spirit that defied the malevolent forces within the haunted corridors. Within the Ravenwood, the ethereal clash reached its crescendo, a climactic moment that would determine the fate of the haunted hotel. John, the resolute echo in the cosmic maelstrom, stood at the nexus of shadows, where enduring darkness sought dominion, and mortal defiance aimed to disrupt the malevolent harmony that lingered within the forsaken walls. As the haunting melody played its final notes, the Ravenwood trembled with the weight of centuries-old curses and spectral malevolence. Whispers, now a fading echo, whispered secrets that transcended the boundaries between realms. The flickering lights, subdued and erratic, flickered one last time, casting distorted shadows that danced in the twilight of the supernatural clash. In the aftermath of the ethereal confrontation, faces from the spectral tapestry seemed to exhale a collective sigh, a release from the torment that had bound them within the haunted hotel. The air, now still and pregnant with the echoes of resolution, bore witness to the indomitable spirit that had defied the enduring darkness. John, having navigated the surreal battleground, felt the Ravenwood's pulse, an enigmatic harmony that now carried the traces of disruption. The nexus of shadows, scarred by the cosmic clash, seemed to exhale an otherworldly sigh, as if acknowledging the resolute echo that had left an indelible mark on the forsaken hotel. As he exited the haunted corridors, John knew that the Ravenwood's legacy had shifted. Whether the enduring darkness had been vanquished or merely subdued remained a lingering mystery, but the resolute echo, the testament to mortal defiance, lingered in the spectral tapestry of the forsaken hotel. The Ravenwood, caught between realms and haunted by ancient curses, stood as a testament to the interplay between enduring darkness and the indomitable spirit of those who dared to tread its haunted halls. The haunting legacy persisted, leaving room for the whispers of the past to weave through the dimly lit corridors, carrying the echoes of a resolute soul that had confronted the supernatural forces within the heart of the forsaken hotel. And so, the Ravenwood endured, an enigmatic vessel of spectral mysteries, waiting for the next chapter to unfold in its haunted legacy.